Well, good day, Red Deer. Here we are. My goodness, post-Snowmageddon this last 4 or 5 days, everyone, and I hope you stayed safe and everybody helped each other to get through this. And it's been quite a few days for sure. But this morning, my goodness, Councillor Jeffries with me this morning, Deputy Mayor for November. Councillor, what a premises we're in. 4913 Little Gates, Carbon and Oak this morning, and we're here with Jensen, the owner, this morning. Just a thrill to be here. Another gem in our downtown. Please come down and check it out. This is an amazing, amazing place this morning. So we're glad to be with you, and let's kick it off, Jensen.
Alrighty. Well, do you want to let us know how the process that the council took to develop the strategic plan?
Well, a great question. Yesterday we delivered the strategic plan to the city, to the residents of the city, and when you think about process, it really started last October, right after the election. In fact, some can argue that it started during the election because this is a time when the public, sets their own vision and tells us what kind of city they want to live in, what kind of city they want to raise their kids in, and so on. But the formal process, if I can call it that, really did start last October when the new council came together. We began to deliberate and plan on the strategic plan right away, capture, if you will, all the thoughts from the election process, put those themes together, and then over the last, what is it now, 13 months. Over those last 13 months, we had several workshops, several meetings of council, grouping similar themes and so on into the three we picked. And then in midsummer, an extensive public engagement process happened. So we went out to our city residents. We were just blown away with the amount of participation. We had 1,000 people come in on the survey. We had a couple hundred people come in person, emails, all those things, community conversations. And 99% of the folks that participated in that public consultation agreed that the three themes that council had picked were the ones to go forward with. So there was quite an assurance there. So the great work of administration, of course, boils all that down. And Councillor Jeffries, I don't know if you want to show it to our folks out there. Councillor Jeffries can kind of show you what the strat plan looks like, or the strategic plan looks like. These are available at City Hall.
Probably at the library.
And what's that?
Probably at the library.
And probably at the library, Councillor. Good catch. Good catch. And so here we are in a three-theme strategic plan, so pretty exciting.
And do you mind identifying those three themes that?
Absolutely. So there's three main themes, as I said, Jensen, this morning. The first one is thriving city, which essentially means a city that's thriving economically, thriving socially, thriving culturally, thriving from a fitness and health perspective, those kinds of things, thriving families, thriving neighborhoods. So it's aspirational in nature, it's quite visionary. The second theme is community health and well-being. So that speaks to the use of our natural amenities, trails, parks, recreation centers, active people. And Shaw listeners know, because they've heard me say this before, Red Deer is the most active city in Canada now. We won that award this year as the most active city. So health and wellness, which also means inclusion of people, inclusion of minority groups, inclusion of newcomers, inclusion of LGBTQ, inclusion of Indigenous Red Deerians, and so on. So that's the community health and wellness. And then the final theme is the connected and engaged city, which means that City Hall is open. That's the stamp that council put on City Hall when we got elected, which means we're consultative, we're open to opinions, we seek direction from our citizens, we're open to them, we do our business in public, and so on. And all three elements really combine to give us a tremendous way forward over the next 4 years. And I'll just say that not only are the elements there that you asked me about, but the measurements and the outcomes are also there so that we can see, as Councillor Dahl put it yesterday, I thought he put it very well, so that we can see how we are testing ourselves. This is really a test of credibility. And for the first time, Council really went public on these outcomes and measures, which makes it quite, I would say legitimate, maybe a poor word, but certainly real in the context where the public can see you're doing what you said you would do. And really that's what we're all about. So thank you for that.
That sounds really exciting. What is the next step in the process to obtain these goals?
Well, that's a great question. You know, where does it go from here? You know, it's sort of the old Shaw viewers might know, especially my age, know the Alan Parsons tune that says, "Where do we go from here?" But anyway, so where do we go from here? So the first sort of concrete material step is the budget process. So the budget process is going to come up, and I know Councillor Jeffries will speak about that here in a minute or two. But the budget gives the strategic plan some legs, if you will, some ability to move forward. So we've committed, council hasn't passed it yet, but we've committed $1.5 million over the next 2 years to move this plan forward in a very tangible way. Again, that's not an approved number, that's in the budget, but council has to decide on that. So that's the first place to start. And then our administration will bring council a quarterly quote unquote report card as to how we're doing and what we said we would do. That has several measurements underneath it, of course, and our folks can certainly look at those in the strategic plan, those outcomes I spoke of. But that is really the material beginning of trying to measure how the strategic plan is going forward. So putting money under it, putting outcomes under it, getting a report on it every quarter, and the public can see what progress we're making.
Awesome, thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
Councillor Jeffries, do you mind talking about the council guidelines that administration used to build the proposed budget?
The proposed budget, okay, we're switching gears onto budget here.
We are.
Yes, definitely. Council, I can't remember what month it was, Mayor Johnson met.
I'll say March.
March,
I'd
yeah.
say March. Yeah.
And I guess through ongoing conversation really, but in a meeting in March, agreed upon what we thought would be the best guidelines for administration to go away and develop budget with. So we gave them marching orders, if you will, and said, go off and do, put together your budget based on these premises, based on these numbers, and go ahead and develop the budget. So in behind the scenes, throughout the summer, administration toiled away, working away, trying to take a look at, analyze, synthesize. What do we really need to be doing? What could we cut? Where? And trying to find that critical focus point.
Yes.
Well, points really. What, you know, given that we can't have all the money in the world, what do we want to focus on and put our energies towards at this point in time? And so they worked hard. They, you know, get the pencil out and sharpen it every single hour because they worked very, very hard to get things fine-tuned for us and say, you know, it's not ideal. We would like to have a little more money over here and a little more money over there, but here's the route through that we see currently. And they've put together the best plan that they think we can offer our citizens, maintaining services, trying to do all of the critical pieces, and still come in on budget. It's a trying task, especially given pressures like inflation, given that we've had low tax increases, like zeros for a couple of years in the past, and we're coming off of COVID. The economy's not, you know, it's just coming back. It's not humming away like it has at other times of our economy and our time span. So they did the best they could.
Right.
They worked really hard to get us there.
Okay, so with the recommended budget of a 4.79% tax increase, can you explain to us what benefits that has?
Well, really, if you think about where inflation sits, in my view, that budget at this point in time kind of holds us steady. I mean, we're just hanging on to the current level of services that we've got and the critical pieces in our community. Others on council may feel differently. We'll see how that goes through the budget debate. Some may be wanting to increase it. Some may be wanting to decrease it, I suspect. And that's what budget debate is all about. Really, it's trying to maintain the infrastructure, the basic pieces that we need in our community to keep our lights on, our water flowing. All of that infrastructure costs money to build and maintain and replace eventually. And so it's a budget that will kind of hold us steady, I hope, and not see us slide backwards. But there's no great, new things really in that space. So.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just add if I could,
Please do.
Counselor. You know, the last couple of years we had 0% budgets. For 20 and 21, that those were 0%. And typically, cities will struggle or play catch up when you flatline a budget and you don't make room for those inflationary pressures that Deputy Mayor Jeffrey so well spoke to. So we were coming out into a situation where, for example, the RCMP contract, policing costs have gone up. So we have to invest another $1 million in policing costs this year. EMS costs, emergency measures have gone up. We're bringing more paramedics into the city with some of these proposed budget items. So that's been a strain. Obviously, our healthcare system and so on, the city is feeling the effects of that. A lot of our staff are working long hours, suffering, some burnout on the EMS side. So those two very critical pieces of infrastructure, EMS, certainly there, and RCMP service, those are factors. Inflationary pressures. I'm sure, Jensen, you look around your wonderful store this morning, you ordered probably, some of these lovely coats a couple of months ago and tried to do your best locking in a price in an inflationary environment and supply chain issues and construction costs. All of those things have come to bear on this budget. And for administration to do the job, as Deputy Mayor Jeffrey said, to administration to do the great job of meeting council's budget guidelines was pretty fantastic. But that was March, and this is November. In March, we thought 4% inflation was going to be great. Here we are at 6, 7, 8, 9, in some cases 10, 12 in a food situation, in a grocery situation. So we have an exciting few weeks in front of us as it relates to getting this thing put to bed.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all your work in
Thank you.
developing our city and keeping it growing. Was there anything else from yesterday's council meeting you'd like to discuss?
Far be it from me to sort of poke the old bear this morning, but we've had 4 or 5 days of snow, and Jensen, I often talk to our great Red Deerians out there, our great citizens out there, about volunteering and looking after one another. And if you can think of a time when we really need to be sensitive to that neighbor next door that might not be able to shovel out, that might not be able to move that snow, might not, or be discouraged that they can't get out or whatever. And I'm talking to you folks out there, like I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir. However, if you own a snowblower out there, like the old mayor here, I don't know about Councillor Jeffries, he's a little more limber than the mayor, but anyway. But if you own a snowblower out there, go up and down the block, knock on a door or two, and clear some of this, because my goodness, you could be getting somebody to a doctor's appointment today with a sick child maybe, or whatever the case may be. So this snow event, we're doing our best as a city to get rid of it. Downtown is evidence of that this morning. But we can all do something for our neighbors, and we mentioned that yesterday, Jensen, in council. Some people call it snow angels, some people call it snow buddies, and that kind of thing. But that's what I want to leave our folks with this morning, is if you can help to the left and right of you today, the left-hand house, right-hand house, go and do it.
Well put.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And a big thank you to city staff who are out on the roads, clearing roads, helping to keep us safe. I watched a few of them for a few minutes last night, and it's treacherous work. We're not always, as other drivers, we're not always as patient as we could be. And give them space, get their work done in a safe way, and we'll all move along. So thanks very much.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Mayor Johnson and Councillor Jeffries, for joining us today.
All
I appreciate
right.
the opportunity.
Thank you, Jensen. And, I'm sure you're just going to have a successful run here. And until next time, Red Deer, this is Mayor Johnson and Deputy Mayor Jeffries saying, hang in there, take care of your neighbor, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
There we go.